folks, how are you doing? And welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to have a chat about karma. And before I go any further, before we get into it, it's really important to make a note that the word karma has actually been weaponized. So when we hear the word karma, we instantly go, oh, because people have turned it into a weapon. How have they done that? Has anybody ever said karma's a bitch? Or karma will get them? Or I can't wait till karma knocks on their door? They've turned it into something dark, and karma is not that at all. Karma is our national curriculum. In the UK, we have something called a national curriculum for the schools. So pupils are expected to learn certain things at certain stages. And there are tests along the way. And some pupils do amazing. They swim through it. They thrive. They go through the lessons. They don't need to put a lot in. They pass the exams. They're always top in the class. They seem to just get it. You'll get some that need to put a lot of study in. You'll get some that'll need to go to extra classes, etc. They may need to do a few resets and go back. And then, then you'll get the other group that will really flounder. They will possibly drop out of school, they'll hate school, they'll push against the system, they'll rebel against the system, they will, etc. They just can't get it, they just struggle to get it. And there's a whole range of reasons for that. It's the same with our spiritual national curriculum. So we have certain things that we are expected to learn as a human being. And these can be based on our choices as a soul, the things that we want to experience in order to learn, to grow, to understand, to experience Earth and what it has to bring to the table. There can also be things in relation to past lives that we've done. And again, we mustn't get triggered by that, because as a soul, you will be expected to be everything. The good, the bad and the ugly. You'll be expected to be all religions, all colours. You'll be expected to be all body shapes. You will be, in one lifetime you could be a saint, in the next you could be a tyrant, in one lifetime you could be the abuser, in another you could be an abuser. So when you talk about past lives and people go, oh, I can't imagine me having a past life like that. Really? You'd be surprised. And the karma from those lives are the things that you've done to others that you need to understand and rectify in your current lifetime. It's the group karma that you've got yourself into with groups of people where you're in constant conflict or disarray, or there's toxicity or addiction patterns. There can also be generational karma, so that's the karma of your bloodline. And that always seems a little unfair, doesn't it? That you can have karma from something that you weren't even a part of, but you may have been in a past life, because you actually find that some people, souls, choose to reincarnate back into the family. You can have a grandfather that comes back and becomes a grandson in order to learn things or to clear things for the family. It's a complex thing. So karma isn't something that we need to run from. Say if you've done something say if you've murdered someone in 1750, you can find yourself coming back in 1850 and you could end up being the carer to the person you've murdered. You'll often find where people become carers of parents, of children, or maybe go into a caring profession where they've done something really big in a past life. Do not get triggered. It is the truth. There is evidence for this out there. Okay? No, it's not scientific evidence, but there is evidence of it. And they will go into some form of caring role. Depending on what they're paying back and depending on the severity, you will see how much they throw themselves into it. Some people can spend a whole lifetime or lifetimes really being a carer, because at a soul level, their soul knows that they have done something horrific and they have to pay it back, and they do it. But also, because if you think about life has got to be about balance. If we go too far in one direction, we've got to be able to come back. Otherwise, we come out of sync, we come off kilter. So it's about bringing balance. So if all your lives are good, you're going to be out of balance. If all your lives are bad, you're going to be still out of balance. So to see yourself as a soul is to be able to see all aspects of you as a soul, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Say there's a tribe of you, spirit tribe, soul tribe in heaven, right, before you reincarnate, and you're all sat round wanting to, it's like sitting in the common room at high school with your mates, all deciding what colleges you're going to go to, what universities you're going to go to. Are you going to go into the sixth form? Are you going to study this? Are you going to do, I mean, back in my day, it was A-levels, GNVQs, and I think NVQs. I think they had them. I was NVQ work-based. I've done NVQs and GNVQs as well. And you all see, you get your prospectus out. It might be all online now. You can tell how long it goes. You can turn in your pages of your prospectus. And you're all excited about it. It's the same for soul. It's the same for soul lessons before it comes in. You sit with your teams, your spirit teams, your guides. You sit with each other and you go through everything you need to go through. So, for example, you may have one spirit that says, you know what, I murdered in 1701 and I'm struggling to get rid of that. I'm struggling to clear that. I just keep struggling after lifetime. I just don't seem to get it. So the person that you murdered says, well, I'll tell you what, shall I come down and murder you? Serious. I'm being serious and I'm not actually joking. Shall I be the one that comes to murder you? Or shall I be the one that murders one of your loved ones? And you go. Because if I do that for you, then we're clear then. Me and you are clear. We've got a clean slate. Yeah, but why would Spirit do that? Because that's where we're at right now. Okay, we'll do that. And then you come down and you go through that. One of the reasons why, when something bad happens to us, that we can go into fuming rage or anger is because something is being mirrored to us. It's not just the event, it's because there's many elements for it. So we're seeing something being mirrored to us and we as humans don't like it. Yesterday on my other channel, CT's Roll Tarot, I channeled Henry VIII. I enjoyed it actually. And we talked about this mirror work when a soul reincarnates and then gets triggered by certain people that represent certain aspects of who they were in a past life, and it can cause a real rage. So there's all this going on as a human being. Then you come into body form and you come into us being a little baby, and everyone's talking about, I wonder what colour hair they'll have, I wonder what colour eyes, I wonder what, etc, etc, etc. Does anybody ever say, I wonder what karma they're going to bring to the table for the family? I wonder what karma they're bringing past life. I wonder how I as a parent can assist them. I wonder what nurturing they'll need. Have they just come from a really traumatic past life where they've been abused or ended instantly through murder or something? And what kind of what nurturing are they going to need from us as a family? What understanding are they going to need? What parts of their soul are they going to have to express and understand? You very rarely get that. Not unless someone's really on their spiritual path would they start going into that. It's all the surface stuff. So this baby comes into incarnation. It's dropped into the matrix. Vast majority of the matrix is not prepared for it. So it gets put into the system. And it gets conditioned, it gets taken away from itself, any gifts or energetic gifts, spiritual gifts get suppressed, etc. They get popped into school, etc, etc, etc. Then they end up as a human being and they end up riddled with anxiety, life's not working well, relationships are all out of sync, everything's chaos, there's addiction, and they end up in a massive, oh, what is going on? I must have been bad in a past life for this to happen to me. So they go down the route of doom and gloom. It's like the Five of Pentacles card, the out in the cold card, the pity party card, the poor me card. We've all done it. Until they get to a point where they start to go and get healing And if they walk down a spiritual path, they'll come across karma. Karma is important. Karma is important to your evolution. Imagine if we could bring those teachings in to when a baby was first born, so you understood at least the bare basics of the karmic footprint. You could intuitively feel it, and you gave the baby and the child the space to express that. And you didn't take it all so personal. And imagine if we could extend that out to other people, where when things happen to us, we don't take it all so personal. Imagine if we can get to that part where we start to realise this is just something karmically clear in the family. I mean, because again, you're not also meant to see it all, because it can overwhelm you. I remember when I first started as a shamanic practitioner and I learnt about past lives, and I says, hit me with every past life I've had. And they were like, are you sure? So I got into meditation, I said, yeah, from start to finish. By the fourth, when I was exhausted, I was so tired, because it's a lot, and it can confuse things as well, and it can really take us away from this current incarnation, which is really where the power is. It's in your current incarnation. You'll get a lot of people that will find out about incarnations and be obsessed by it, and they'll loop about that incarnation, and they forget that they're actually in this present incarnation, which is the actual portal to healing that incarnation. But because they've become obsessed by it, I don't know, they've been a princess of Alfred the Great's court or something, I don't know, or they've been a Viking shield maiden. So being able to understand it from a teaching perspective rather than a punishment perspective is a way forward. So karma's not something to fear. People can choose on some level to choose to come and experience an illness, because the truth is, again, the Matrix does not teach us the spiritual aspects of illness. Illness can be a great awakener. Illness can really waken you up to the fact that we've been neglecting ourselves, the fact that we've been taking too much trauma on, the fact that we've been abusing our bodies in various different ways, the fact that we've been not giving ourselves time and space. So illness can be a real big teacher. It can be one of your greatest teachers in your life. So we look at illness and go, yeah, but it can be, it's your greatest teacher if it's used properly. If we start saying the words, and I do say this a lot in videos when people say it, when people say, my anxiety, my depression, my cancer, my this, it is not yours. It is that I get so triggered. I see it a lot, and I wish people would stop it, because they don't realise the damage they're doing to themselves. You're not bypassing by saying the anxiety, the depression, the epilepsy. You're acknowledging it's there, but when you say my, you're bringing it in. It's like people will say my narc abuser, my abuser. They do it. We do it all the time. We've all done it. It's the worst thing you can do for yourself. So a soul can choose to come down and experience illness. It may be something they want to learn how to self-heal. They want to learn the importance of balanced diet. The only way they can do that is to come down and experience unbalanced diet. Maybe they've had previous incarnations where there's been a lot of addiction. So we also put our hand up to experience abuse, and that can be a huge trigger, and I get why that can be a huge trigger. Because on some part of your energetic path you will have been the abuser. You know, another way of looking at it is, all these people that, you know, like Richard McCann, we've all, well, possibly not everybody's heard of Richard McCann. Richard McCann, whose mum was the victim of the Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe. If you've read his book, Just a Boy, etc., and there's a lot of people like him that had these horrendous upbringings, abuse, neglect, torture, murder, but they go off and they become healers, or they become emotional speakers, motivational speakers, or they become therapists or influencers. They will have said at some point, I need to go and experience that to be able to go and do that and help people. You cannot get your teaching from a book. You cannot get your teach. You can read a book and you can get knowledge and you can get understanding, but your real teaching comes from actually being through it yourself. You know, I'm sure this used to be the thing in the UK, and young girls used to get triggered by it. But I'm sure there was a point where you couldn't be a midwife unless you'd had a child yourself. I actually agree with that. I'll take the arrows. I really do agree with that, because how can somebody, please, oh, I love it when I get a trigger. You know, it's true, when we've experienced something and somebody else we know experiences something, we bring much more to the table than somebody that hasn't, and that's just a fact of life. So if a group of souls said, you know what, we want to go down to earth and we want to change something, we want to bring some healing, some teaching, but we're going to have to go down and experience it, because how can you walk into a group of school children as a motivational speaker that come from council estates, that come from poverty, that come from all kinds of things, if you've had it all, if you've had a silver spoon in your mouth all your life and you've had it all given to you and you've had a great life? You can't really, because people are going to go, what do you know? What do you know about pain and trauma? And you can say, have you not read my book? So there's that as well. And then we get the karma that we cause whilst you're in your current incarnation. So the karma from things you've done, you've said, you've not done, you've not said. You get all that karma as well. So it's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. So, and then we end up in this situation where we're in a right old knot with karma. This card here is called Karma, Untying the Knots. And that is what we're now trying to do. We're trying to untie the knots to make it into a clear grid. Not where we've forgotten it's existed, but where we can understand it, where it becomes where it's meant to be. And then we can then turn it into expansion in your life. These are the two cards that I wanted to use today. Expansion in your life, creation. Because when you can release yourself from your karma, expansion starts, healing starts, understanding starts. You start being able to move through things quicker and easier. How do you do that, Claire? It's very, very simple. It's so simple, and it's free as well. You don't have to spend money for it. You can go for a mentor, obviously, you can go to therapy, but if you want to take it from this video today, and all you need to do is watch a few ads, is be a good person. Be a decent person. Oh yeah, but I've been a decent person all my life, but bad stuff still happens. That attitude is why you're where you're at. When we have that attitude, that is why we stay stuck. Because we live in a universe that has all energies. It has good energies, it has bad energies, it has angelic energies, it has demonic energies, it's full. So throughout your life, you're going to come across all of it. But when we step into disempowerment, we attract in negativity. Do you know when we go into negativity or disempowerment, there's a scent that goes out into the universe that pulls in external energies, that pulls in the drama merchants. So how would you untie it? You start loving, that was my letterbox, by the way. You start loving yourself. You start being kind to yourself. You step out of blame, shame and victim and finger pointing. You embrace all aspects of yourself, the good, the bad and the ugly. You make peace with your, and this isn't going to be overnight, by the way, you make peace with your past. You make peace with the abusive ex. You don't have to go to them and make peace. You make peace in here, because that's where your torment is. You make peace with it. You understand it. You start to look at all the parts of your life as teachers rather than abusers. And again, let it trigger you. Please let it trigger you. But this is the truth. You start to look at all aspects of your life as teacher. When you can look at an abuser, or when you can look at the ex that cheated on you, or I don't know, and look at them as your teachers and your karmic clearers, it changes the game. But when you really feel into it, and if you believe 100% that that will happen, it will. But if you go, I'll try it, but I don't believe it, I think she's talking shit again, it won't happen. You won't enjoy it, you won't embrace it, you'll get the outcome that you really want, which is for it not to work. You'll see a change in your life. When you start to look at your relationships and friendships, connections, from a point of view of oneness, that they're not the baddies and they're the goodies, from a whole group of people that are here to try and clear their karma. And the thing is, the truth is that you've watched this video, but the people around you haven't. You may have read books about karma. So especially when we're reading about this stuff and we're watching videos about this stuff, we then have a responsibility to actually take it on board. Because there are people out there that really think karma is a bitch. That's what they think. And they've no idea about this and they're looping in terrible, terrible ways. When you can step into that, and when you can understand that it's not happening to you, but for you, that there could be something in that that is actually trying to teach you something, that, I don't know, maybe somebody's done something, said something horrible about you, but maybe that is actually to give you a wake-up call to try and be a better person, to try and make better decisions in future. Maybe you've just found out that the date you've been dating for a few weeks has cheated on you, but you knew that were coming anyway. The warning signs were already there. They weren't as present with you. They didn't spend as much time with you. They weren't gentle with you. They didn't answer your text. You know, you'd send them a text, you'd see them open it. It wasn't just that they were just getting changed after football and they thought, I'll answer back when I get in the car. They were ignoring you because they were up to no good. We see the cards on the table early doors. We do, because we are all intuitive. But guess what? Some people decide they're going to switch that off because it suits the internal narrative that they are wanting to tell themselves. So they end up looping and looping and looping. When you can start to do that, all these little simple hacks can change. And when you can look at somebody that has, and I don't mean straight away, if tonight World War III erupts in your house, I'm not going to expect you to do this, but if you can look back at something and go, God, yeah, I realise I actually needed him to become the person, I needed him or her to be that person in order for me to become the person I am now. Alchemy happens, you've cracked it. And I mean, there's been cases where people have learnt the lessons, and the people that they've learnt the lessons with, the other person's changed, and they've ended up going from ripping each other to pieces to actually being really civil and polite and everything being smooth and no drama. And it's like, yeah, but we used to hate each other. We used to have some right barneys, and now we don't. Because everything is magic, everything is energy. And some of the things I'm witnessing as well in healing sessions is people have a whole host of soul contracts and karmic contracts that are ready to be transmuted. When that happens, the lightness that can come in, because what can also happen is these karmic contracts can still be there because we've not, the blocking is up. The blocking is up, if that makes sense. And they're ready for someone to just come in and clear them off for you. But that can only happen when it's been learnt, because I want you to clear my soul contracts. Well, okay, well, if I mention that person to you, what do you feel if I hate him? I'm not going to clear that contract. I'm not going to clear that contract until you don't hate him. Until you actually say, actually, he's my greatest teacher. Actually, Claire, the thought of me not crossing paths with him scares me because I won't be the person I am today. And boy, do I love the person I am today. See the difference? When you can start to step into it, it changes. And it doesn't happen overnight, and you will have to check in on yourself and go, you're doing it again, you're doing it again, you're doing it again. But when you can grasp it and understand it, it changes. You know, I remember Gary saying to me, we lived in Leeds, do you want us to get a really good when we lived in Leeds, do you want to go to a burglar system? And I came in thinking, yeah, we'll get a really good alarm system, and we'll get a camera up and all of that. And I actually got to a point where I said, let's not. I said, because I don't think we'll get burgled unless we're meant to get burgled. And I was like, what are you on about? I said, well, say if one of us has thieved something in a past life, or we're meant to get burgled as part of our contract. We're going to get burgled. No camera's going to stop that happening. Do you know what I mean? So if you find yourself where you're always having to repair things, maybe you destroyed somebody's property in a past life, maybe you were a big fat Viking that went in smashing people's houses up, or a big muscly sexy Viking that went in smashing people's plantations up or houses up. So you may find you're always having to spend money on things like your washing machine's always breaking down. You just get something repaired and something else bursts. You may find your own house gets ransacked. I know these are difficult conversations to have, but if you look back in history, there's what happens when those rampaging Vikings, not just Vikings, throughout the whole of history, that mercenaries and soldiers would go into villages and rampage through and cause so much pain. They are going to reincarnate. What's going to happen when they reincarnate? Their own property is going to go through that. Maybe you cheated on somebody in a past life, so you get cheated on. And then, until we can get into that mindset and go, oh God, it frustrates me, it hurts me, but I understand why it's happening, and give me time to just breathe through it. Then you can come out of it. And you'll find, once you start to regularly step into this energy, that it becomes easier, and that when you do come across things, straight away your guides, what is this teaching me? Guides, what can I do? Guides show me reactions, and you're able to really sit down and go, I didn't help myself there, I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have raged like that, or I did goad her a bit, didn't I? And you're able to go through it, and life gets easier. And because ultimately that's where we're going as a species, to try and clear this karma, because this karma just blocks people, and you can clear it as quick as you want. You really can. Love clears karma, compassion clears karma, time clears karma, patience clears karma, mindfulness clears karma, looking after ourselves clears karma. Diet, exercise, water, movement clears karma. Even cleaning your house clears karma. Being of service, but not in a codependent way where you're trying to put something right. Being of service clears karma. Enjoying your life on earth clears karma as well. Being able to enjoy all the people around you as well, even the trigger masters. Being able to have gratitude clears karma. And all that's free. You don't have to pay for any of that. Crafting clears karma. Being able to craft, knit, sew, paint, because it takes you into an energy of oneness, of love. It takes you into something natural, organic, which takes you out of the stories, he said, they said, all that knitter, natter, chatter, soap opera stuff that's out there at the minute. And sometimes turning around and saying, does it matter? Does it matter if they're a bit pissed off with me? Does it matter that they don't like me? Does it matter? Not letting yourself be so easily hurt and triggered. Not letting yourself be so easily wound up as well. Yeah, so karma. That's today's karma chat. Questions below. Sensible questions. Sensible questions below. We'll do more of these chats. 30-minute chats, 30 to 40-minute chats. Put some questions below. Keep them simple to a paragraph, not a full, because Claire doesn't have time to read all that. So just keep it precise to the point, and we'll come back maybe next week. We've got group healing next week, haven't we? Maybe the week after. Who knows? Might come back next week. And we'll have a chat. We'll talk about something, and we'll see what comes up. It's also nice not to use a whole range of cards as well. I know I've used 2 cards, but not all that shuffling and I do love cards, but sometimes it can be a bit like especially when Claire starts just whacking loads of cards out. Yeah, so like, comment and subscribe. Remember, next group healing next week starts next week, the 12th and 13th of June. and it is a persecution and witch-wound group healing. There is a video below in the description and the pinned comment which will tell you all about it and how it works. To take part in it, the link's below in the description. It's all very clear and to the point. Some new subscribers, yes, you can have sessions with me. It's all via Zoom, so it's all distance readings, healings, mentoring. The Henry VIII channeling, don't let it put you off because it's royal. It was actually a really fascinating channeling and I enjoyed it, and it's got a really good response. I will put that below in the description. Please do watch that because that was a teaching video as well. Fingers crossed there is a channeling coming on this channel next week, and I think it's going to be someone you're all going to like. I think I'd find it really difficult for anyone to go, I don't like them. I think you're all going to go, oh, I'll watch that. Okay, so I'll give you a clue. He's male. Oh, well, that narrows it down. He's not a criminal. Well, that narrows it down again, doesn't it? He's male, he's not a criminal, and he likes to make people laugh. Anyway, and he's a bit mischievous as well. So, thank you for watching. I've put pressure on myself to do it now. I will do it Monday. Questions below on areas that you'd like, keep it simple, to the point. Who knows, we may even do a quick, if I get enough, we might do a Q&A session. I'll write it all down. So depending on what we get. If you see your question down, don't worry, put it down, because the more people that ask, I don't know, what is a soul contract? If 10 people ask that, I know that's a popular question. So that's going to come out of the bag, okay? Like, comment and subscribe. Don't forget the playlists on here as well, because people forget the playlist, the channeling playlist. This will go in the shamanic healing playlist. So if you've enjoyed this video, go to my playlist. I think it's shamanic healing, and there's all types of different videos like this. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will see. Ooh, what emoji shall we have for this? A key for unlocking your dream future. A key. Put me a key in the comment section from an emoji. See you in a bit. Bye.